Hi guys, it's Nancy here and I'm back with another process video for you, and I have been through the first bits of my American album and kind of sorted out where the gaps are. So I've made a list and I'm going to be working through it on the next few layouts I'm sharing with you because I want to kind of finish one part before I move on to the next. So I'm cutting down some older bits of paper here. This is an old, I can't remember, I think it's a Bella Boulevard paper. Oh no, My Little Shoebox from 2011. So yes, an older piece of paper. And I'm going to be using that as my background. I'm going to be using this piece of craft which came from a paper pad. I think it was a Paper Mania paper pad. So I'm using some of my older stash up because that's kind of the mission that I'm on at the moment. So as always, I'm just gutting that out to use it as my background. But I'm also going to be mounting my photo on that because then I guess there's a little bit of continuity across your layout. So I really like this piece of paper, and it kind of, it just reminded me of kind of like white lines, kind of road-like, so it kind of went okay. And I wouldn't have used the other side. I think I brought it in the sale or got it in the sale for the other side. For this side, not the other side, the pink cartooniness. It's just not me. So I'm just using some Heidi Swap 8x8 papers that I had to just start building up some layers. And my mission is just to kind of use up some of this stuff because I've kind of just been keeping it. And it needs to be used, or it needs to be donated or given away or something. So just finding some more layers here. And again, these were mostly scraps that were in a kit bag that I'd had. These are all kind of odds and bits. This is just a craft tag which I had sitting on my desk. And you can't go wrong with a craft tag. So I'm just looking through here some other bits and pieces of paper and things that I've got just sitting off here to the side. Random bits of paper. And I also actually find this Studio Calico stamp, which is a graph stamp, but I'm actually going to end up stamping that in the background as well. I've got loads of just rubbish around, and I just need to go through and sort out what I want to keep and what I want to get rid of, because I'm never going to use it all, and some of the stuff I really don't like, so I'm just going through this, which is a load of fancy pants bits and pieces. So I'm just going through that. And I'm just cutting most of this by just my scissors, not really worrying about my trimmer. So I decide that I can use that card by cutting out the arrow. Sorry, I forgot what they were called then. So I'm just using my brown ink pad and stamp it down. I'm not worried that it's not like a clear sort of stamp. I kind of quite like that it's just, I don't think this has ever been mounted on a stamp block either. It just creates a little bit of background texture. Adding some mist over, of course this is my Route 66 mist. And then I'm going to be adding some of this Rain Beetle, which is a lovely sort of coppery colour. And then just putting that around where I know my clusters are going to be. And then I'm just going to leave that to dry. While that's drying, I'm just going to start to be layering my photos up on the different layers here. And I'm just using my wet glue to stick these down. Sometimes I use my ATG, sometimes I use my wet glue. Depends what mood I'm in. So I'm starting to get my base layers sorted. And I'm kind of happy with how this is building. And as I said, just had so many different scraps on here, which is why I decided to just stick it down before I even pulled out any embellishments, because I knew I would just, get really fuddled and not use the stuff I actually wanted to use. So that's what I'm doing here. So I've got kind of my base layers down now, just adding some more mists over those because that's going to help blend it in with the background misting. And then I have this piece of paper which is from October Afternoon Boarding Pass. And I'm going to be actually cutting some bits and pieces out of here. This is a little bag of goodies from Emma. Some Maggie Holmes bits and pieces, so I found a little tag that I can use. I'm then going through other bits that I've got on my desk left over from other layouts, just to see if I can add any of these on. And I find this little frame, which I believe, actually I don't know where that came from. So some different tags and labels and bits here, so I'm just going through pulling out anything that work. There's a couple of acetate pieces as well. There's one of these, I think they're chic tags pieces that someone sent me. And yeah, just going through this little pot of die cuts I've got on my desk. And this is kind of the stage I normally get at before I kind of start sticking my layers down, because I had so many bits and pieces. I kind of did it as I went, and I'm being quite ruthless on here and just sort of sticking down as I go. But I have to pull up a few layers as I go on, but it is what it is. I decided I need to mount that up on something because you get to see the layers through, and I don't like how that looks, so I just use a little bit of that chevron paper that I had left. And I'm just kind of starting to build up. Got fake nails on and trying to pull the acetate off the sort of cover off the acetate was a bit of a nightmare. But I did get that stuck down. It's got some different tags and bits. So I'm just sticking them around. Just building it up, really. And I said there wasn't too much thought that went into this, to be honest. So just got some little photo tabs, layering a couple of those up. And then I know that I want to cut some pieces out of that October afternoon. So I'm just seeing if I can use any of these bits and end up just sticking them around the top. This is a little bit that was out the middle of that Polaroid frame, or slide frame even. Did try to use this acetate piece on here, but that doesn't get on here, but it does get on another layout pretty soon. So now I'm going to look at cutting out some of these cars. And I know this is not like the cars we were driving whatsoever, but I like them, and it kind of goes, it was just a picture of rush hour in downtown San Francisco. So I put out my wood veneer. I found a little wood veneer banner piece, and I decided to add that to the bottom because that will add something. Add a little bit of dimension, different texture under the acetate piece. And then I'm just looking at other bits and pieces that I've got sort of stuck on my desk. So add a little arrow there. As I'm making layouts, if there's little bits and pieces, I tend to put them on a little shelf above my desk, and eventually they do get on layouts. So what you missed there is I thought the camera was on, but it wasn't. I have started to stick down some of these little cars. I cut out some partial and some full, and then just stuck them around. I really like how they look. As I said, they're not, you know, the kind of cars that we're driving at all, but they kind of just, they were cartoony, but not in a aggressive cartoony way. You know, they kind of mapped in with everything, and I liked how it looked. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about, isn't it? As long as you like it. So I'm just pulling up a couple of layers just so I can stick a little car down behind there. And so I know that, you know, most of my embellishment came from that piece of paper, and I've got it used up, which is good. And as I said, I like how that looked. I picked up another little bit that said road trip, I think, or rush, I think, for like rush hour. I don't know, it was a little bit that was in the background of that October afternoon paper. So I'm going to add my date stamp onto that date tab at the side of my photo. And I'm going to pull out my little roller stamp labels so I can check what one I'm looking for. I stamped them all out so they're easier to see. And then just stamp these around, I think, which is Go See Do, I think. So just stamping that around to add a little bit more texture to that background. I'm just using my black archive link there. Just seeing if I want to add any more. And I do like this way, it's an easy way of just seeing what's on your roller stamps. So I'm now going to stick that round onto my background. And that's just going to kind of map everything, you know, mat it all down and kind of enclose the layout. And I kind of quite like how these are quite muted colours, which are a little bit different for me, but I'm really liking yellow and turquoise at the moment. It's funny how we go through in stages and the colours we like. So I go from my bag of random small alphabets, and I end up using some Simple Stories alphas. I really need to sort this bag out, but it kind of works at the moment. I'm not leaving the house to scrap at the moment, so it's kind of working. But if I do want to leave the house and scrap, which I probably should, because, you know, being social is good, I'm going to need to address that. But right now, it's kind of working as it is. So I'm just putting down my title, which is simply Rush Hour, and I'm going to journal a little bit on here as well. And then that's really it for this layout. There's nothing too major. So I'm just going to use one of these to stick down. As I said, just kind of adding a few little bits and pieces around. I do want to put SFO on here because that's what I'm putting on my San Francisco layout. So I'm just going to stick that down here as well. And I think I'm going to call it a day. So I want to thank you very much, guys, for watching. Thank you for all your lovely comments and likes recently. And I'll be back very, very soon. Bye!